Alrighty, so I had to move the John Deere again in the trailer because I forgot to sweep underneath there, so I went and did that and whatnot. So it takes care of that pretty much. Yeah, I don't know if I showed in here or not either. But a few days ago, the lights turn on here. Help us with it. I cleaned the shop floor decently enough. There's still crap everywhere because it blows in, you know. So, well, yeah. So there you go. John Deere's up and running. Should stay running. All I have to do now is grease it and sharpen the blades, which isn't just too big of a fucking deal. It's taking the mower deck off, which is a real cocksucker. I really maybe need to invest maybe in some, well, I was thinking about maybe investing in some mower ramps. But then I was like, I want to take it off because I want to be able to grease the drive shaft and everything. So, if it was all belt driven, I would just leave it on, then I wouldn't even bother pulling the deck. But since it's drive shaft driven, I'll need to take it off and grease it. Because even the U-joints have grease jerks in them too, so they need to be greased as well. So, but unfortunately, the tractor does need a bath, and so does my cover. But unfortunately, the cover's been stained many freaking times, so it's useless trying to clean it. I really was thinking about maybe making like a little shed in the garage, just big enough for the tractor and Big Red to sit in. I think there'll be plenty of room for the trailer and the car and the trimmer and whatnot. I think there'd be plenty of room in there for that. I'm not making it that big anyway. I think I'm just going to go, I'm thinking of maybe going from the window, well, from this window, I guess I could just show you. I got the window open, but from this side of the window right to the end of the wall, and then I think up to that window there, this way, and then of course there'd be some doors, and then back this way, obviously it would line up to that window again. So it wouldn't be a very big place to put, or it wouldn't be that big. But I think it would be big enough where I can get both machines in there, because I'm sick and tired of having to clean their mess. Normally I have to clean it every fucking year because of the cats. No matter if you put the cover on or not, one, the cover is not tight enough, and two, even if I went with a bigger cover that's bigger than the tractor, so even if I used a big tarp, the thing is that they'll still do whatever they can to crawl underneath the tarp, right? You know. And if they can't get under it, then they'll probably try to dig at it, you know, because they're always so stupid to try stupid things. So, another thing I could do too is would be to buy a bigger roll of plastic. You know, cut it to the size of the tractor, have it overlap a lot, and then just run, maybe either get a couple of, maybe some 2x4s or something, or some old cinder blocks or something like that, so the cats can't, you know, crawl on there. Again, you'd have to spend a lot of time moving it, you know, but really what to do, you know, because it's so frustrating having to clean up these damn cats. I just like to get rid of them, but, you know, you just know how it goes. So it's a little bit hard doing that, but I've done it a few times in the past, so it's not really a super big deal, I guess. But so I don't know really what to do. Either way, it's cheap. Either you get the roll of plastic, or you end up going to the lumber yard and picking up a bunch of sheetrock, or not sheetrock, plywood. Won't have to be strong stuff either, because it's not going to support anything. Another thing you would have to probably do would be to run some, you'd have to get some 2x4s. I really was just thinking of maybe just letting the sheetrock sit on the concrete floor, and then I'll get some L-shaped brackets and just screw it into the ceiling, and that will hold it. But then if something should hit it, then it'll probably end up moving. So you probably have to frame it, but again, you could use some really small framing. You don't need heavy duty like 6x6s or anything like that. You could get away with something smaller than a 2x4, something a little bit smaller than that to do the job. It's, like I said, it's not going to really support any loads, so it's just going to support the sides, the walls, and whatnot. I mean, obviously, if you hit it with something, it would, even with a 2x4, it would still crack. If you were to hit it, you know, with your four-wheeler or your car or whatever, you could still damage it, but, you know, at least it probably could be repairable, which takes some time. Because I don't really know what to do. Now, since it's the summertime, the males will spend more time outdoors. So, thank God for that. But, so that's also a bad thing, too, because then they don't spend a lot of time around humans, and then they kind of forget, and then that's already happened already. Because we didn't let our males much this winter. They mostly just stayed in the garage. Just because they were in that spraying mode. They like to spray, you know, marking their territory. I didn't want that in the house. So, again, they didn't really spend much time with humans, and they kind of forgot over time. So, they don't really super run far away from you, but they definitely won't let you pet them. So they're a little bit wild, but they're somewhat tame. Our one cat did return. He was gone, I think, for about a month. He finally came back. So, but whatever. Don't really need them. I mean, I like them. You know, I mean, they're good cats when they're not in my house. You know, if they run around outside, they're good cats because, well, for one, they catch a lot of mice and stuff, and that we don't need. And they don't damage my house. Right now, all my females are downstairs because they're all in heat. I now have to put, was it 3? Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 of the kittens that we have. Well, these are from like last year or whatever, but they never really grew up because I don't know why. They're still kind of not their normal size like a normal cat would be. They're a little bit smaller, so they're kind of like a mini cat, you know. But they loved to damage my basement, and they were tearing it up, spraying everywhere. Even my females, they were spraying like males. It was stupid. But the kittens, I have to put them in a cage at night. I let them up in the morning, or I let them out in the morning, I should say. They still roam around down the basement, but the thing is, during the night, when they're roaming around, they climb up the studs of the wall. That's kind of in between my bedroom and my mom's bedroom. Well, it's a little bit more towards her way, but it's still kind of in between. So we can actually hear the cats climbing up and down the studs. You know, you can hear them wrestling and whatnot. And they actually, sometimes they'll even go up into, they'll climb up these things, right? And then they'll go up into these, like, attic little spots. And they'll just fucking, you know, they'll just have a war up there. I'm not sure what the hell they're doing, if they're just playing or if they're actually fighting, but I don't hear any fighting, but you can just hear them, you know, wrestling up there or whatever the fuck they're doing. So that got old. We knew who was doing it. So we wanted to put them in a cage and try it, and then the noise stopped, so we know who's doing it. So now they spend their nights in a cage. It's a fairly good sized cage though, too. It's actually a dog cage that my grandma had laying around. And they don't mind it at all. They seem alright. I mean, they got food, water, kitty litter, and a nice big fat old jacket as a blanket. It's really fat though. I think it's, to them it's probably pretty comfortable. Not, well, to me it wouldn't be, but I'm a human. Jackets are just meant to be worn. You're not really supposed to sleep on them, but you know, whatever. So, yeah, just kind of ticks me off. Cats kind of have no respect for anything. I mean, they would have more respect, obviously, if they were fixed. But you know, again, that costs me money. So that would easily cost me, if I wanted to get every cat that I own right now fixed, from what I've done the math, it would cost me about $1,000. And I'm like, really? Is it really worth spending $1,000 on this? I spend almost $100, $150 a month just feeding them, you know, and then getting their kitty litter, and I'm like, really? And it's hard right now because I got big medical bills, and you know, that extra 100, 150 or whatever could be going towards a fucking bill, paying off my bills. So, but no one around here is wanting cats because they probably already have them, or they just don't want them. So, what to do with them? You're stuck with them. So, it just costs me a lot of money either freaking way. But you know, the thing is, the 4-wheeler and the John Deere are, you know, the John Deere's actually worth more than the 4-wheeler. I paid like $11,500 for Big Red. I paid $12,500 or about $12,000 or a little bit over. Yeah, a little bit over because of the brush guard, and then the 62-inch mower deck. So, you know, it's a little over 12 grand that I spent on that tractor. So, you know, do the math. You know, 12 plus 11. And then you got your total for the thousands, you know. I mean, you're talking 20,000 plus, you know, into just those 2 pieces of equipment. Never mind everything else that I bought for it. Well, I bought the snowplow for Big Red too. I think that was only like, $500 for the plow, so that's where the part of the 500 come from. And then, of course, I think, like, well, for the old winch that I had in Big Red, the very first one, that was probably like a $300 winch. And then, of course, it blew out. I had it fixed. They failed at fixing it, so I just went and bought a whole brand new one. I bought it off of eBay. It's a 2,500-pound HD Polaris winch. The first one was just a regular. It was not a heavy-duty model like this one is. So that's how that went. So you know, and plus, then you got to remember, I added on the windshield to Big Red a couple of months later after I got him. But that was only like $150 windshield or whatever. It wasn't that expensive, so it was doable. But now with medical bills, you know, at the time I didn't have all these medical bills either, right? I had all my big major medical bills that I did have were paid off, you know. So, but now I'm getting all these new ones again, and it's getting tough to try to pay all these freaking bills because I got too much crap going on, and I just want them out of my fucking life. Because I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of being broke all the freaking time. You know. So, something's got to give, you know. So, but yeah, so that's why I'm just kind of. That's why I've just been thinking of maybe making a little building or something for Big Red and the tractor. So that way the cats can't get in them. I know that they probably will start eventually clawing at the wood, but I guess if they scratch it, you just repair it, I guess. Either replace that section, then I guess. I don't really know what else to do. You know, so, because it's stupid. But I don't know, either that or I'm going to have to, depending on what I want to do, I'll probably have to get a shed, put it behind the shop, level all this ground off, and then put the shop there. Not a very big shop. I know, if you guys remember that one video from Bill T-Max, he bought like one of those little plastic sheds or whatever. I got the website to who makes them, and I think I could probably go with maybe the biggest one possible without, because they go up to a certain size, okay, that only require a plastic floor. You don't need concrete. But then once you go over that certain size, every building that goes bigger than that needs a concrete foundation, and I don't really want to have to pour a foundation, because apparently if you pour a foundation, I think you got to pull a permit for that. Even if it's just for something that you bought yourself, which is, you know, as your shed. So I think I'd rather just get something that would go on the ground, you know, it's got a plastic floor. Big enough to where, maybe where I can park both machines in there. or at least just one. Because in the wintertime, the John Deere could probably actually go in the shed, you know. And I'm going to probably end up needing Big Red to plow snow. I don't know. He could probably stay up in the garage with the car. And then in the summertime, I'll either have to try to make room for both to sit in there, or I'm going to have to put the four-wheeler in the shed, even though I'm going to need it. Or, you know, I don't know what to do. If the garage would have been a 3-car instead of a 2, so this is actually supposed to be like a 2-car garage, but it's just got the one big massive door on it. That's how I see it anyway. It's like a 2-car garage. And then you got the shop, which would make a 3rd. But unfortunately, I'm using this as a shop, not a storage place for cars. I was this winter. But I want this to be my workshop, so I can't really be putting anything in here besides maybe trying to get the farm all put in here. But that's a project tractor, though. That's not, you know, well, it can sit in here too if I'm not working on it. This would be its new home, obviously. So, and obviously the tree will have to come down and fall, get rid of that, so it's not a danger. But you know, so just don't really know what else to do because I don't exactly have all this friggin' room. And then if I do, say if I get a, let's just say if I get a Bobcat or I get a tractor, unfortunately then we're going to have to sit outside. Because the Bobcat won't fit in here. I probably have room for more sheds, so I could always have one built. I really could actually just have a whole new shop put on here. Which were my dream thing to do, was to tear this shop down and put a big huge one on here. That'll hold everything. Have one side of the wall for just tools and, you know, stuff like that. And on the other side, well, this side would be workbench and then tools. And then on the other side would be storage, like parking. It was going to be put right here, right where this old shop sits. The things I was going to do was I could go out a little bit more and I can go further that way. I can't go this way because I'm getting into the alley. I could probably go about a foot, but I don't want to go any more than that. So I could actually go probably another 15-20 feet that way, up to like where that pole is. And then I could go this way probably like another 20 feet, kind of like where this tree's at, you know. So, I mean, I could put these trees here would have to come down, obviously. You know, so, I mean, if you picture it, of course, the door would be, well, the door would probably be over here more now. There's my cat. So, if it went to about here, hell, even to right to the end of this tree, and then to the end of the pole, kind of like, that's a fairly huge fucking shop, you know. And of course, it would be a hell of a lot taller, too. It's probably so freaking tall that my friend's big 986 could fit in here, no fucking problem. Which is something I want to do, because when I leave, because sometimes when he comes here, since I moved here anyway, sometimes I'll leave Big Red behind, and we'll just take the 2 machines, the tractor and the truck, to load bales. Well, I have to have a ride home, so I take his tractor back to my place, and then he comes in the morning and we do our business again, bigging up bales. So normally, when I'm done for the night, I'll park it on top of the hill. You guys have seen pictures and stuff like that. Bear Tech, I don't know if you did or not, but when I drive my big friend's 986, I put it there on top of the hill. And then during the day, if we're still loading, I'll park it down there in the front yard where the sidewalk's at. I'll park it there because we're just, you know, we're leaving right away. So, but during the night, I'll park it up there on top of the hill because I don't want to leave it down there on the sidewalk during the night because, you know, someone could probably hit it. So it's safer up there on the hill. Well, if I had a big shop, big enough to fit a big 986 in here, that big cab, it can just come in here and be locked up and no one can touch it. Of course, obviously I'm going to have security cameras all over my shop and lighting and whatnot. Hey, there's my kitty. What are you doing? Yeah, you've been hanging around a lot. There's the pretty girl. This is the pretty girl. She's fixed, so we don't have to worry about her breeding. She's still her same old self, though. Snoopy. Right? Snoopy. So cold. Burr. She's the one that should be staying in, but we let her go outside. She still has her claws and everything, so we didn't declaw her. We just got her fixed. Because she needs her claws. Because she's an outdoor cat. Well, she's really supposed to be an indoor since we fixed her, but we let her roam. I think next year we're not going to let her out. But you sure want to snoop in that inside that or up in the top there, don't you? Huh? You want to get up there, huh? No. You can come in though. Come in the house. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of maybe doing. I know that when I was looking at future buildings, they're having a hell of a deal. You could get a